how does an artist navigate a career from being, well, basically a stand-up novice to an Emmy-winning writer, an acclaimed filmmaker, and even, hosting the Golden Globes,
Right.
all while publicly embracing these really profound personal truths that kind of redefine their whole public image?
It's a fascinating path.
We're talking about a multi-hyphenate artist whose work consistently blurs the lines between raw comedy, deeply personal confession, and really sharp social commentary. It's quite a tightrope walk, wouldn't you say?
It absolutely is. And that journey, I think, it really challenges our usual ideas about what an entertainer can do, how they connect with people. That's a testament to constant evolution and this really unyielding commitment to self-expression, often in the most unvarnished ways.
And that's precisely what we're here to unpack today. Welcome to the deep dive.
Yeah.
Today, we are plunging into the really fascinating world of Rothaniel Jerrod Carmichael. You, our listener, you shared a rich source about him, and our mission today is basically to pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge, the key insights.
Give you that shortcut.
Exactly, offering you a shortcut to being incredibly well-informed about this truly unique and, I think, really impactful voice in entertainment.
And our main guide here is a pretty comprehensive Wikipedia entry.
Yeah.
It's a goldmine, really.
Yeah.
It gives you this meticulous chronological journey through his life, his career milestones, those pivotal personal revelations,
Yeah.
and, of course, his big achievements across different fields. It's packed with specific details that we're definitely excited to unpack for you, give you some context and maybe a deeper understanding.
So together we're going to trace Carmichael's evolution, right from his roots in North Carolina all the way to the global stage. We'll be highlighting those key moments, the artistic choices that have really defined his impact and shaped his distinctive brand. We'll look at how his career, which started, pretty traditionally in stand-up clubs, just expanded dramatically into acting, innovative filmmaking, even this raw, kind of unflinching autobiographical documentary work.
Yeah, that's a big shift.
And crucially, we'll examine how his intensely personal journey has increasingly, and I think quite deliberately, shaped his public art. What is it exactly that makes his approach so distinctive? And why has it resonated so deeply, with audiences and critics, often pushing the boundaries of what we even expect from public figures?
I think it's his unique ability to connect on, multiple levels, often by pushing those boundaries of traditional performance and inviting this almost sometimes uncomfortable intimacy with his audience.
Yeah.
His career really is like a masterclass in turning personal truth into, universal art.
So let's begin right at the very beginning, chart his course. Our journey with Jerrod Carmichael starts in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. He was born Rothaniel Jerrod Carmichael, April 6, 1987.
Okay.
His early life characterized by a low-income environment. And that reality, interestingly, would later become a really frequent, sometimes poignant topic in his stand-up.
Right. Forms a kind of foundation.
Exactly, a foundational layer for his observational humor. But even from a remarkably young age, it seems like the performing bug had already bitten him.
Yeah, the source has this fascinating little anecdote. In 5th grade, he hosted a morning news show on his elementary school's local access channel.
Oh, wow, 5th grade.
Yeah. And you might think, okay, cute childhood memory, but it's actually a really early, almost like prophetic indicator of this fundamental comfort he had being in front of an audience. It shows this nascent talent for presenting, for engaging people, which is pretty remarkable for someone that young. It suggests this kind of innate ease with the spotlight,
Definitely.
a foundational piece of his later ability to just command attention, whether it's a tiny comedy club or hosting the Golden Globes. It points to a comfort, a naturalness with performing that, frankly, a lot of artists spend years trying to cultivate.
That's a great point. It speaks to maybe an inherent disposition for it. He went on, graduated from Robert B. Glenn High School in Kernersville, North Carolina, back in 2005. But then comes what I find to be one of the most striking parts of his origin story. This incredibly bold, maybe even audacious leap into stand-up comedy.
Right.
At the age of 20, Carmichael made this truly significant, life-changing decision. Packed up his life, headed straight to Los Angeles, California.
Big move.
Huge move, with this ambitious, almost singular goal. Pursuing stand-up comedy. And here's the kicker, the really mind-boggling detail.
He'd never done it before.
He did this without ever having tried it before.
That is it's a profound gamble, right? A sheer leap of faith into the unknown. It says so much about his conviction, even that young, that this was like his calling.
Yeah.
Almost a path he just instinctively knew he had to follow. I mean, most comedians, they meticulously hone their craft for years,
Yeah.
Local clubs, open mics, regional stuff.
Pay their dues.
Exactly, before even thinking about moving to a major hub like LA or New York. Carmichael's decision to just dive headfirst into the epicenter, completely untested. It reveals this extraordinary blend of self-belief, ambition, and maybe, just maybe, a little bit of that naivete only youth can afford.
It's certainly not the usual path, is it?
Okay.
And when you think about where he chose to make his very first attempt at stand-up, okay, let's really unpack this for a second.
Okay.
Imagine moving to a new city, you've never done stand-up, and then for your debut performance, you hit an open mic night at the Comedy Store in West Hollywood.
Oh, man. The Store.
That's not just any venue, it's legendary. It's hallowed ground in comedy. Think about who came up there. Richard Pryor, Robin Williams. Countless legends cut their teeth there.
It takes an incredible act of courage, or maybe just raw fearlessness, perhaps even like a deliberate psychological challenge to himself, starting right at the top like that.
It immediately sets him apart. It signals an artist who's not afraid to just dive headfirst into the deep end, maybe embracing pressure as a catalyst for growth. What do you think that choice says about his mindset, even back then?
It suggests, I think, an innate understanding of high stakes. A belief that maybe real growth comes from pushing yourself to the absolute limit, starting at the Comedy Store. That's a trial by fire. You're not just performing. You're fighting for attention in a notoriously tough room, often filled with industry scouts, seasoned comedians.
Right.
The energy there is just palpable. It demands nothing less than absolute authenticity and like razor-sharp wit. For Carmichael to choose that as his entry point, it speaks to a deep, maybe intuitive trust in his own ability to rise to the occasion, even if it was totally unproven at the time.
Yeah.
It kind of established a pattern, didn't it? Choosing these challenging environments that would really define his artistic path later on.
That kind of pressure cooker experience must have forged some unique resilience. And the source confirms, he diligently worked his way up through the club circuit after that initial plunge.
Right, it wasn't overnight.
Not at all. This was a comedian paying his dues, refining his voice, his timing, his material, night after night on those stages. And this sustained dedication, it culminated in his selection for the prestigious New Faces showcase at the 2011 Just for Laughs Festival in Montreal.
Which is huge.
Huge. For any emerging comedian, being chosen for New Faces is a massive stepping stone. It's a clear signal the industry is taking notice.
Absolutely. New Faces is way more than just a performance slot. It's basically an industry endorsement. It means you've been vetted by the tastemakers, identified as someone with, significant potential.
Just put you on the map.
Totally. It places you squarely on the radar of agents, managers, network execs. Often leads directly to auditions, development deals, bigger opportunities. For Carmichael, it validated that audacious leap to LA. And it confirmed that his unique voice, even in its early stages, had caught the attention of the comedy establishment. It marked that moment. His hard work in the club started translating into real, tangible career momentum.
It really is like a golden ticket in that world. And when we look at his formative influences, the list is pretty iconic and quite diverse, too. George Carlin, Bill Cosby, Richard Pryor, and Sinbad. It's a fascinating mix, isn't it?
It really is a captivating blend. What's particularly interesting here is the sheer range of those influences. On one hand, you've got the philosophical, often challenging social commentary of Carlin and Pryor.
Right, the heavy hitters.
Yeah, masters of dissecting society's absurdities, its hypocrisies, personal vulnerabilities, with this almost surgical precision. They use comedy not just for laughs, but like as a scalpel for truth. Then on the other hand, you have the more storytelling-driven, broadly appealing humor of Cosby and Sinbad. They excelled at observational comedy, crafting relatable narratives, finding humor in everyday life, family dynamics.
Yeah, more traditional maybe.
Exactly. And this eclectic mix, right from the start, it offers real insight into Carmichael's own emerging style.
Right.
He wasn't just imitating, he was clearly synthesizing.
How so?
Well, maybe he learned from Carlin the art of linguistic deconstruction, societal critique. From Pryor, perhaps, that raw, almost confessional vulnerability.
Okay.
And then from Cosby and Sinbad, maybe the ability to build relatable characters and narratives that really draw an audience in. This foundation allowed him to kind of oscillate between the deeply personal and the universally resonant, between sharp, critical observation and profoundly honest humor. It suggests he was absorbing lessons in both, like intellectual rigor and emotional connection.
Which become hallmarks later on.
Absolutely. Defining hallmarks of his later, much more complex work.
That's a really insightful way to frame it. It shows how he built this foundation that let him be both deeply introspective and universally accessible, which is, yeah, a rare balance in comedy. Acting, television, leveraging that growing visibility.
Yeah, after making a name for himself in that intense club circuit, he started appearing on screen. There's the show The Goodwin Games in 2013, kind of a taste of the TV landscape.
Right.
But then his acting career saw a really significant breakout role in the mainstream film Neighbors in 2014. He played Garfield Garf Slade.
Oh, yeah, I remember him in that.
It was a high-profile, successful studio comedy. And he reprised the role in Neighbors 2 in 2016. These roles were just crucial because they introduced him to a much wider audience.
People outside the comedy bubble?
Exactly. People who might not have followed the stand-up circuit but now recognized him for his distinctive presence on screen. That exposure was vital for building his public profile, showing a versatility that would serve him really well.
And around the same time, his HBO comedy specials started, which would become, just an incredibly defining and personal platform for his stand-up. His first one, Love at the Store, premiered in 2014. And it's incredibly poetic, almost full circle, that it was filmed at the very club where he started, the Comedy Store.
Back where it began.
But what makes this even more remarkable and just a clear statement of artistic intent is who directed it.
Spike Lee.
Spike Lee.
Which is an enormous artistic statement, especially for a debut special. Spike Lee is, renowned for powerful storytelling, his distinctive visual style.
Yeah, the look is always strong.
Right? Vibrant colors, dynamic camera work, and this profound commitment to social and cultural commentary. His involvement suggests that Carmichael's stand-up, even back then, was seen as more than just jokes. It was viewed as performance art with real depth, cultural resonance. Lee's presence elevated it from just recording a performance to a cinematic event. It signaled Carmichael's ambition to infuse his comedy with a sophisticated visual narrative.
It immediately positioned him differently.
Totally. Not just as a comedian, but as an artist with a broader vision for his craft.
Yeah, the involvement of Spike Lee in Love at the Store, it just jumps out. It's not just a cool credit. It signals this artistic gravitas, this willingness to explore visual storytelling within comedy in a profound way. For a stand-up special, it suggests this deliberate effort to craft an experience that's as much about atmosphere, framing, visual cues, as it is about the words themselves. It announced right from the start of his HBO career his ambition and the caliber of his artistic collaborations. What a powerful way to make an entrance onto that national stage. Immediately distinguishes him.
It certainly set a remarkably high bar,
Yeah.
both in terms of artistic collaboration and the kind of depth people started expecting from his work.
Right.
Then his second HBO special, 8, followed in 2017. This one was directed by his friend and fellow comedian Bo Burnham.
Ah, the Burnham connection begins.
Exactly. And it was filmed in this really unique atmospheric place, the Grand Lodge Room of New York's Masonic Hall. That collaboration with Burnham would prove incredibly significant. It developed into this long-standing, critically acclaimed partnership that really shaped some of Carmichael's most impactful and visually innovative work later on.
Yeah, you can see Burnham's influence.
Oh, yeah. Burnham's own, groundbreaking approach to comedy direction, often blending performance art with raw self-exposure, it undoubtedly influenced the visual and structural evolution of Carmichael's specials, moved them further into this more theatrical, introspective realm.
That partnership really does sound like a critical turning point in shaping his whole artistic aesthetic.
Yeah.
And then came The Carmichael Show, which truly cemented his place as a voice with something genuinely important and often provocative to say. From 2015 to 2017, Carmichael didn't just co-create and co-write. He produced and starred in this semi-biographical NBC sitcom.
3 seasons.
3 seasons, yeah. And it was exceptionally well received critically, but more importantly, it earned this reputation for its courage.
The show became really notable for its willingness to just directly broach and discuss politically and socially charged topics. Things that were rarely, if ever, addressed with that kind of candor and depth in mainstream network sitcoms at the time.
Definitely not standard sitcom fare.
Not at all. We're talking subjects that usually get pushed to prestige dramas or cable, right? Not a primetime family comedy.
So what kind of topics?
Things like the Black Lives Matter movement, complex LGBT issues, debates around gun rights, current politics, and just the nuanced, lived reality of being Black in America.
Wow.
This was pretty groundbreaking for its format, essentially using the Trojan horse of a sitcom to spark these vital, often uncomfortable conversations.
It was a sitcom that genuinely aimed to provoke thought alongside the laughter. And it consciously refused to shy away from conversations that other shows, especially on network TV, were actively avoiding. It felt daring in its directness.
Which raises that important question. How did a mainstream network show manage to tackle such provocative topics with such, unflinching candor?
Yeah, how did they get away with it?
It speaks volumes, I think, about Carmichael's core comedic philosophy. His fundamental belief in using humor not as an escape from difficult truths, but as a critical mechanism to open conversations about uncomfortable truths. For instance, there was an episode, Protest, directly addressed Black Lives Matter, not just generic statements, but having the family grapple with the ethics of protesting, the nuances, even the disagreements it caused within the Black community itself.
Right, showing the complexity.
Exactly. Another episode, Cousins, tackled homophobia and acceptance with a level of realism and emotional weight you just rarely saw in the genre. Instead of offering easy answers or shying away, he leaned into the complexity.
Using that familiar sitcom format.
Precisely. Using that familiar, comforting format of a family sitcom to gently yet firmly challenge viewers' assumptions and provoke genuine discussion. It was a clear demonstration of his unwavering commitment to using his platform for substantive commentary.
A trait that definitely grew stronger.
Oh yeah. It showed audiences that even within a traditional sitcom format, depth, critical thinking, a willingness to engage with complex social issues could not only thrive, but also resonate powerfully. It expanded the very definition of what a network comedy could achieve.
He wasn't just aiming for laughs, he was deliberately starting conversations, using the sitcom as this powerful tool for social discourse. It's a remarkable legacy for a network comedy, really.
It is.
And beyond starring in it, Carmichael was also expanding his creative scope elsewhere. He took on executive producer duties for the Fox sitcom role from 2018 to 2019.
Right, flexing those behind-the-scenes muscles.
Yeah.
And he also diversified his directing experience.
Yeah.
He helmed Drew Michael's stand-up special, also called Drew Michael, in 2018.
Oh, interesting.
And that special was acclaimed for its unusual style, which is a really significant point connecting back to Carmichael's own evolving artistic vision.
How so? What was unusual about it?
Well, Drew Michael's special famously used these long, unbroken takes and deliberately lacked a traditional audience. It created this almost theatrical monologue feel.
Okay, very different.
Very different. And it wasn't just stylistic. It forced the viewer into this more intimate, almost confrontational space with the performer. It removed the comfort of shared laughter, demanding a more direct engagement with the material. This shows Carmichael, even directing someone else, was already experimenting with form, pushing beyond the typical stand-up shot, reverse shot. It really indicates his own innovative approach to directing comedy was developing.
Yeah, not just a performer.
Exactly. Showing he was developing a distinct directorial vision for the genre itself, willing to challenge its conventions.
That's a fascinating insight into his directing style, showing that early commitment to pushing formal boundaries, and from there his creative expansion just kept accelerating, didn't it? Moving into filmmaking, documentaries, even unique collaborations.
Yeah, in 2019, he made this unexpected, kind of intriguing appearance on rapper Tyler, the creator's acclaimed album Igor.
Right, I remember that. He narrated it.
He narrated parts of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Using these short, evocative phrases to provide this unique narrative voice, helping listeners find logic in the title character Igor's complex, often fractured state of mind.
It was unconventional.
Totally unconventional role.
Yeah.
But it powerfully showcased his ability to contribute artistically in diverse, maybe understated, yet really impactful ways.
And that same year, he gets tapped by Quentin Tarantino.
A legendary director, Quentin Tarantino, yeah. To co-write a film adaptation based on the Django Zorro crossover comic book series.
Wow, that's quite a gig.
It's incredibly significant. To be chosen by Tarantino, a filmmaker known for his distinctive dialogue, intricate narratives, deep understanding of genre, says volumes about Carmichael's versatility and writing prowess. It demonstrates his ability to craft narratives and dialogue that go far beyond stand-up scripts into this realm of complex, genre-bending storytelling. It's a powerful validation of his writing talent from one of cinema's most, idiosyncratic and respected voices.
That's a huge stamp of approval for his writing chops, absolutely. Confirms his talents extend well beyond comedy, but he also continued his deep exploration of personal themes, right? Directly through HBO again.
Yes, with 2 autobiographical documentaries, Home Videos in 2019 and Sermon on the Mount, also in 2019.
And in both of these, he wasn't just the subject. He was creator, director, producer, and star.
Yeah, taking on all those roles.
Which really embedded his personal narrative even further into his artistic output. It marked this clear, deliberate move toward making his life itself a subject of his art. Not just performing it, but meticulously documenting and interrogating it.
And if you connect this to the bigger picture, these documentaries came several years before Rothaniel, his most revealing special.
Right.
They signaled this clear, growing willingness to engage directly with his own life, his experiences, as the primary source material. They weren't just about sharing stories. They were about this deep, often unvarnished self-examination presented publicly, a kind of preemptive bearing of the soul.
Like in home videos.
Exactly. In home videos, he's interviewing his own family members, delving into their perspectives on his life, their shared experiences, which is incredibly brave and vulnerable.
Yeah.
And Sermon on the Mount explored his relationship with faith, his family's religious background, peeling back even more layers of his personal history. So what do these early autobiographical works suggest about his long-term artistic trajectory, and crucially, his developing comfort with vulnerability as a core element of his craft?
They definitely foreshadowed what was coming.
Absolutely. They profoundly foreshadowed a path where that distinction between the personal and the professional would increasingly dissolve. It became this powerful, defining characteristic of his work, preparing both him and his audience for even deeper revelations down the line.
They really paved the way for that later, even more intimate work, showing this clear progression towards radical transparency. And then in 2021, Carmichael makes his feature film directorial debut, If on the Count of Three. And again, he didn't just direct it. He also produced and starred in this dark comedy film. The fact that it competed in the U.S. dramatic competition at Sundance in 2021, that's significant recognition for a first-time feature director.
Huge recognition. It immediately placed him in a serious cinematic conversation, showing his vision translated successfully to the big screen.
It marked his official transition, really.
Yeah, into a fully fledged filmmaker, demonstrating he wasn't merely a comedian who also acts, but a multidisciplinary artist with a distinct, compelling vision for storytelling across different mediums.
And the film itself, On the Count of Three, it tackled some heavy themes.
Extremely heavy themes, yeah. Mental health, depression, suicide. But with this darkly comedic sensibility. That choice of subject matter further solidified his commitment to exploring uncomfortable truths, even in his fictional work, proving his artistic interests went far beyond just making people laugh.
And the reception at Sundance?
Critical reception affirmed his capability as a director to handle these complex narratives with both sensitivity and a unique voice.
Which brings us to a truly pivotal moment, arguably the defining moment in his career and personal journey so far. A new era, really, characterized by profound personal revelations and critical acclaim that completely redefined his public identity.
Rothaniel.
His third HBO special, Rothaniel, released in 2022, and once again, directed by Bo Burnham.
Yeah, showcasing just how strong and creatively synergistic that relationship had become.
Their synergy is undeniable, isn't it? It's like this perfect creative alchemy.
It really is. Burnham's minimalist yet deeply impactful direction in Rothaniel just allowed Carmichael's vulnerability to take center stage. It created this unique theatrical experience that felt both incredibly intimate and profoundly public at the same time.
How did the direction achieve that?
Well, Burnham's choice to keep the stage design really spare, with Carmichael bathed in just a single spotlight.
Yeah.
It amplified the confessional nature of the performance.
Stripped everything else away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Stripped away distractions, focusing the audience entirely on Carmichael's words, his internal process. It made the revelation feel even more raw and immediate.
But this special was truly groundbreaking, utterly transformative, because it was during Rothaniel that Jerrod Carmichael publicly came out as gay. He had talked about relationships with men and women before, often exploring his sexuality in kind of veiled or indirect ways. But Rothaniel was this profound, open, incredibly brave moment of personal revelation embedded directly within his art.
Right, not a separate announcement.
No, it was woven into the very fabric of the special itself, an emotional journey performed live.
Which was incredibly significant, not just for him personally, but for the medium of stand-up comedy and for LGBTQ plus representation in this very public, unforced way.
Yeah.
The act of coming out on stage as part of his narrative gave it this unique weight and immediacy. It wasn't, a planned reveal for a news cycle. It was an organic, deeply felt moment of sharing that redefined the very nature of his relationship with his audience.
Okay, let's really unpack this, because Rothaniel wasn't just another comedy special. It was this deeply personal, vulnerable, ultimately transformative public declaration that just reverberated far beyond the comedy world.
Hmm.
It fundamentally changed the way many people viewed him and his art. It created this new, essential lens through which his previous and future work would be understood. It moved beyond just telling jokes or observations to telling this profound, life-altering truth, using the stage as a space for radical honesty and self-acceptance.
And the impact was immediate.
Instantly recognized, yeah,
Yeah.
both by audiences who felt this incredible connection and by the industry itself. The special earned him the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Writing for a Variety Special.
Which is
It's
huge.
a powerful testament to the masterful craft and profound impact of his storytelling.
And the accolades for Rothaniel didn't stop there, which really highlights the breadth of its impact. He also won the Writers Guild of America Award for Best Television Writing in a Comedy Variety Special, underscoring that critical recognition of the sharp, vulnerable, innovative nature of his writing. And further, perhaps most personally resonant, given the content, he won a Dorian Award for LGBTQIA+ Trailblazer in 2022. This award directly acknowledged the cultural impact of his personal journey, his courage in sharing it. It recognized that his vulnerability wasn't just art, it was a powerful act of representation.
And activism, in a way.
Yeah, and for many, a form of activism. Inspiring others, pushing boundaries for what kind of stories can be told on a mainstream platform.
It's difficult to overstate the impact of that moment, both for Carmichael personally and for the broader cultural landscape, in terms of shifting perceptions of what's possible within public art.
Definitely. And what's truly fascinating here is how Carmichael chose to do it. Using the very public platform of a stand-up special, a traditionally comedic medium, to share such a deeply personal, life-altering truth.
Right, not a press release.
No, he didn't issue a press release or sit for a traditional interview. He processed and revealed this profound aspect of his identity through his art, live on stage, in front of an audience, inviting them into his emotional experience. This not only redefined his own public persona, fundamentally shifting how he'd be perceived and understood, but it also expanded the very possibilities of what a comedy special can achieve.
How so?
It blended humor, often nervous or self-deprecating humor, with raw, honest self-discovery. It demonstrated that comedy can be a vehicle for the most profound forms of confession and emotional release. It underscored the immense power of vulnerability in connecting with an audience on this deep, almost spiritual level.
Shifting the focus.
Totally shifting the focus from purely observational humor to deeply introspective narrative that invites genuine empathy, shared human experience. It was a masterclass in controlled confessional performance, using long pauses, direct eye contact with the camera, building up to the revelation, not with a punchline, but with this quiet, almost hesitant honesty.
The ripple effect was immediate. It led to this undeniable increase in visibility, recognition post-Rothaniel. Just 2 days after it was released, he hosted Saturday Night Live for the first time.
Right. Huge platform.
And for that, he got nominated for the Primetime Emmy for Outstanding Guest Actor in a Comedy Series, which just demonstrated his significantly increased visibility, his broad appeal to a mainstream audience who were clearly captivated by his unique blend of wit and vulnerability.
And his rise just continued with remarkable momentum. In 2023, he hosted the prestigious 80th Golden Globe Awards.
Yeah, that was memorable.
Showcasing his sharp wit, his distinctive, often dry, comedic timing, and his ability to command a major live event with both humor and this certain cutting edge that kept the audience engaged, maybe a little on their toes. That same year, he appeared in the Academy Award-winning film Poor Things, alongside Emma Stone.
Well, another big project.
Further cementing his presence in these high-profile cinematic projects that moved beyond just comedy. These appearances highlight his growing stature across different facets of entertainment, from intimate comedy stages to major award shows and critically acclaimed films. It showed his versatility and the demand for him across the industry.
It's clear that Rothaniel was a watershed moment, not just for him personally, but for his career. Opening up entirely new avenues, cementing his reputation as this artist of remarkable honesty and depth.
Absolutely.
And that leads us directly to the present and the future, where he continues to evolve and push boundaries through reality shows, new ventures. In 2024, Carmichael continued this exploration of self, this time even more explicitly, with the Jerrod Carmichael Reality Show.
Yeah, an HBO documentary series revolving intimately around his life.
It premiered at South by Southwest in March 2024, then hit HBO later that month, and it got critical acclaim too, right?
It did. It won a Gotham TV Award for Breakthrough Nonfiction Series in 2024, further solidifying his artistic credibility in this new, extremely public format. And it wasn't just, a traditional reality show in the celebrity gossip sense.
No. How was it different?
It felt like an artistic extension of his previous, deeply personal work, meticulously crafted to explore the complexities of his life, his relationships in real time.
So this wasn't just him jumping on a trend, it was a deliberate artistic choice, building on the foundation of Rothaniel and those earlier documentaries
Exactly.
to continue that exploration of self, but in an even more raw, maybe unfiltered way.
Exactly. If you connect this to the bigger picture, the reality show format, especially after Rothaniel and the docs, it suggests this ongoing, evolving, almost relentless commitment to radical transparency in his art.
He's basically saying, my like is my art.
Pretty much. And I'm inviting you into the most unvarnished, often uncomfortable parts of it as they unfold. He explores his family dynamics, friendships, dating life, his ongoing struggles with identity and connection, with this almost startling frankness, which raises an important question for us, the audience. In an era of meticulously curated celebrity, where public figures often present this carefully constructed, often aspirational image, what does Carmichael's continuous, unvarnished self-exposure offer to both his audience and the broader cultural conversation about authenticity?
Yeah, what does it offer?
How does this blurring of the lines between personal life and performance challenge our traditional notions of celebrity, privacy, and maybe even what constitutes art in the modern age? He's not just showing us his life. He's challenging us to reconsider our expectations of public figures and the very nature of storytelling, pushing the boundaries of what an artist can reveal and how.
It's a fascinating and, provocative experiment in self-documentation. And it's clearly far from over. His career continues to evolve, demonstrating his wide-ranging appeal. He's got an upcoming appearance as a guest judge on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Right. Season 17, episode 12 in 2025.
Which further highlights his presence within the LGBTQ plus community and broader pop culture, shows his reach extends to incredibly diverse audiences and spaces, embracing his role as a trailblazer.
And also, in 2025, his fourth HBO stand-up special, Don't Be Gay, premiered on Max.
Right.
Which indicates his ongoing commitment to stand-up as a core part of his artistic output. Continuing to challenge and provoke with his unique voice, his willingness to tackle sensitive subjects head-on.
And that title alone, Don't Be Gay.
Yeah, it suggests he's definitely not shying away from controversial or deeply personal topics,
No,
rather leaning into them with his characteristic blend of humor and introspection, constantly evolving his relationship with his own identity and his audience's perceptions.
So what does all this mean for his evolving comedic voice, his artistic trajectory? It suggests this constant push against boundaries, doesn't it? A relentless desire to keep exploring new forms, personal truth, in the most public way possible. He's not resting on his laurels or settling into some comfortable niche. He's continually reinventing what it means to be a comedian, an artist, in the 21st century, using his platforms to foster dialogue and self-reflection.
He's showing us that art doesn't have to be static or just entertaining. It can be this dynamic, evolving, sometimes uncomfortable reflection of one's lived experience, serving as a mirror for society as much as for the artists themselves.
Yeah.
His journey is one of continuous growth, artistic fearlessness, and this deep commitment to radical honesty.
What a journey we've traced. We've gone through the remarkable, evolving career of Jerrod Carmichael. From those humble beginnings in Winston-Salem to becoming this award-winning comedian, actor, filmmaker, host of major award ceremonies.
Like the trajectory?
We've seen how his art has consistently embraced authenticity, tackled challenging social subjects head-on, and evolved to include these deeply personal revelations, culminating in transformative moments like Rothaniel and the, unflinching Jerrod Carmichael Reality Show.
His work demonstrates this powerful blend of incisive wit, profound vulnerability, and intellectual curiosity. He consistently pushes the boundaries of what comedy and entertainment can even be, showing us that true impact often comes from a willingness to be utterly himself, no matter how uncomfortable, unconventional, or intensely personal that truth might be. He's really redefined the parameters of celebrity and artistic expression in this very public, deliberate way, inviting us all to rethink our expectations of public figures.
And as Jerrod Carmichael continues to weave his personal narrative so intricately into his professional endeavors, I mean, from coming out in a seminal stand-up special to starring in his own reality show, dissecting his real-time emotional life, he challenges us, you, the listener, to consider how does an artist's increasing vulnerability, this willingness to explore uncomfortable truths, redefine the boundaries of what we expect from public figures?
It's a big question.
What are the implications for privacy and authenticity in our increasingly transparent world? And what does this ongoing quest for radical authenticity reveal about the changing landscape of modern storytelling? Pushing us, the audience, to look inward as much as outward. What new frontiers might he explore next? And how will his profoundly honest journey continue to resonate with and challenge audiences worldwide, forcing us maybe to confront our own truths?
It certainly does leave us with a lot to ponder. About the future of art, celebrity, personal narrative, his path remains one of the most compelling and evolving in contemporary entertainment today.